You know what I mean? I think they needed to open up opportunities for us and let us have equal access. I don't think they had to let us open up the floodgates and let all the qualified Black folk run and leave the hoods. Like I don't think that necessarily benefited us.
But they didn't. But I guess my final question: if we were able to do that when they did not open opportunities, but we did it anyway, so why do they have to give us opportunity as a condition for us being self-developed? If we did it when they weren't.
They don't.
Well, then why are you saying that they have to open it up? Why did they have to do anything before we do
I'm
something?
talking about segregation, sir. That don't take my words and blow them out of proportion. I was talking about segregation when they opened up the gates and people ran out. Don't twist my words. Don't come at me like Fox News. I love you, black man. Don't do me like that, right? So what I'm saying to you is, while we're building our communities, they don't give us what they owe us. I want every right that every American has. I'm sorry. We built this country, and we will get everything that we're entitled to. And I'm not talking about handouts or anything of the sort. You're going to give me what's mine. You're not going to hand out apple pie to everybody sitting around the table. When you get the Hawk Newsome and black people be like, you can't have none. You must be out of your mind. Either I'm going to take that whole pie or I'm going to flip this table over. So yes, while we build this thing up, they're going to give us what's ours. Okay? They're going to give us what's ours.
You spoke some words that came to the attention of folks across America at a Trump rally that you actually, that you showed up to protest, got pulled on stage, and you shocked America, I think, but in the most positive of ways. In some of the words that you said at the time. And so I want to go ahead and pull up some of that language because it made an impact on many people, including, to be honest, myself. You were up on a stage in front of an audience full of Trump supporters, and you said this. You said, "I am an American, and the beauty of America is when you see something broke in your country, you can mobilize to fix it. We are not anti-cop. We are anti-bad cop. We don't want handouts. We don't want anything that's yours. We want our God-given right to freedom, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. If we really want to make America great, we do it together." Now, I heard you just say a moment ago that, you know, there's a lot of Republican racists out there and so forth. I understand the point of view. I can tell you, Hawk, we've got a lot of folks within the Brave Rangers community who love you dearly, including some folks on the right, some Reds and some conservatives who thought a certain way about you. And then after meeting you, after laying their hands on you, said, "This man is different than what I thought." And I know you've experienced that in the past, but I would like, if you don't mind, because my goal is always about getting closer to that beloved community. And, you know, you said some things on Fox News recently, which, you know, I think that I can understand perhaps what you might mean, where you might be coming from, but I don't want to leave it up to my own interpretation, because you talked about burning down the system, and you seem to equate a little bit on whether or not that was metaphorical or literal. And I guess the thing that I'm expressing to you, Hawk, is that I feel like we are in a moment where on the one hand, the truth needs to be expressed, but on the other hand, using the power of love as it is expressed in the gospel and in the philosophy of King and well beyond that, of course, there's still a need for us to sort of bring together our common humanity. Are you still open to that?
To be perfectly honest, I'm not put here. I'm not wasting my time trying to convince white people that racism exists.
Right.
Either you understand that or you don't. It is no longer my job to try to convince you that racism exists. Things have changed dramatically since that speech to the Trump supporters at the mother of all rallies. I still come from a place of love, but I understand the frustration because I embody the frustration. You cannot allow people to live in deplorable conditions. You cannot withhold adequate food from them and allow people to live in a food apartheid, in food deserts. You cannot withhold a quality education for people based on their zip code. Your zip code shouldn't be the determinant of your longevity of your life, right? And then to add insult to injury, all of these things that are happening, to add insult to injury, You mean to tell me if some racist cop chokes my loved one to death, that nothing will happen? Now you got George Floyd coming on the heels of coronavirus, where we saw Black people hit harder because of food injustice, right? And poor health and poor eating habits, but food injustice. People snapped. People went outside and they tore things down. They burned things. People snapped. And what I'm telling you is, the more inequality you have, and I don't even like the word equality, the more injustice you have, the more poverty you have, and the more outright acts of government-sanctioned racist aggression you have, the more frustration you'll have. And when that frustration manifests itself in the streets, don't blame Hawk, because Hawk is not sending anybody out there. Hawk is literally telling you what will happen if these things continue. Now the president could call me treasonous. People could say what they want to say, but we all know it's the truth. People kept seeing injustice. People became frustrated, and people snapped, and they went out there and tore stuff up, right? This is the reality of it. Don't hate me for giving you the truth. And guess what? That's the American way, right? That's the American way. People going out, making noise, being heard, and bringing about change. That's the American way. Now that the fires are out, now that there's a more there's a movement going on that's a lot more peaceful than it earlier was. There's legislation being passed and pushed. Now you see, everybody wants to write me off, but nobody wants to listen to my logic. Like, I listen to what you had to say, sir, and you made some very good points, and I take that on board, and I'll research it and apply it. That's the way I move. But everybody wants to say, oh, Hawk, why are you so aggressive? It makes no sense. Why are you saying these things? Look at American history. Look at American history. When people don't get what they want, Irish people rioted, gay people rioted. Stonewall was a riot. Don't blame me. Blame the country for not fixing this. Blame yourselves. Not you, but everybody watching. Blame yourselves for not getting justice after Eric Garner. Blame yourselves because the cops who made a mistake and killed Breonna Taylor still, are not being prosecuted. Don't blame me. Don't blame, the people in the street. They're just frustrated and they don't know another way to bring about change. Like, people are tired of holding hands and singing Negro spirituals and holding up signs and waiting for you to give them what you want. No, people are banging on that door, ready to kick the door in. And this isn't person-on-person violence. This isn't like a black-white thing. This is a system versus citizen thing. And I really think we've hit rock bottom, and I really think we're growing. So it's actually a great time to be alive. So yes, I'll talk to anyone. I'll negotiate with anyone. But I'm not here to convince some racists that Black Lives Matter. No, hell, I don't have the time.
I think what we can build, and there are external challenges that we have to confront. But what I really think that we're missing is I don't hear very much conversations directed to people to say to them what you must do, that the victimizer may have knocked you down, i.e. life, racism, what have you. But it's the victim's responsibility to get up. The hundreds of young men who were out shooting and robbing that we were able to bring in, they changed because they began to value their own life and the life of others. And to me, the worst thing in the world is not a bigot. It is a traitor. It's when someone looks like me, gets in the position of authority and power, and uses to enrich themselves at the expense of others. I have lived for 5 years inside the belly of the beast. I've been inside the civil rights organizations. I've seen Nixon give the Urban League $93 million when he was in to address poverty. And I saw what was done to that with that money by hundreds of people. I've been inside the beast. So as far as I'm concerned, the worst thing that we can say to the groups that I deal with around the country who are living in these crime-infested, drug-infested neighborhoods and building islands of excellence, I think it's dangerous to say to them that if you're killing one another, it's not your fault. Or if you are not taking it, you have a right to an education, but you got a responsibility to study. If we're not saying to someone for every right, there is a personal responsibility to respond, then I think we're crippling them. Nothing is worse than telling a group of people that their destiny is determined by what white people do. That you cannot make it until white people change. If they don't change, they don't give you justice, if they don't open opportunity, if they don't give you health care, if they don't give you that, then you can expect nothing else. I think that is veiled white supremacy to believe that white people, if white people were to go to Europe and Canada tomorrow, what would it change in our community? And so, no, I'm strong in believing that my people, if we were able to build hospitals, railroads, businesses at a time during segregation, when we're being lynched every day, if we could do it then, we can do it now. We don't have to demand or beg white people to do anything.
Now, I got a question, sir. Where's your family from? I just want to ask one quick question. Where's your family from?
Yeah, very quick.
Philadelphia.
We're out of time.
Philadelphia. No roots in the South. Well, we got Southern roots.
No. Wilmington, South Carolina, and Virginia. Farmville, Virginia.
My family's from Allendale, South Carolina, and White Springs, Florida, right? Mm-hmm. And what both my parents always taught me was there's in-house conversations and there's out-house conversations. When I'm speaking out to the world, I'm not belittling Black people. When I speak into our world, into our people, then you got messages on doing for self, right? But I'm not feeding into their narrative by speaking out in the world. Oh, here's what Black people need to do. That's not, they have so much, they have so many people to do that they don't need us to do that. And I don't beg them for anything. All I want is what every American has. I want equal protection under the Constitution. And you or no one else can't tell me that I can't demand equal protection under the Constitution. You can demand it.
All I'm saying, I don't think telling people that they have personal responsibility is belittling anybody. I think it's
telling the masses, telling the audience.
No. Listen, I don't have two truths. When I stood up and said I was against, let me just say, when I stood up and debated Julius Chambers on the whole issue of force busting for integration, I was told, oh, you shouldn't say that because the Klan agrees with it. I said, I don't believe that anything is all Black is all bad. And I said to him, right before the New York Bar Association, I said to him, if you have two circumstances, one is all Black where there's a presence of excellence, and B, there's diminished excellence, where should we send our kids? He said, to school B. I said that we got nothing to debate. I don't think that anything is all Black is all bad. And so, I mean, but my point is, I tell the truth there. I don't care who agrees or disagrees with me. The truth is the truth.
I understand. The truth is the truth. And let me tell you
something. That's right.
When you're speaking outwardly, that's the only piece of the truth that they're going to run with. That piece where you say Black people need to do X, Y, and Z, that's the only piece of the truth that they're going to run with. They have the news, they have the newspapers, they have social media, all these things to tell you that Black people are violent, Black people need to do this, Black people need to do that. So you know what? I'm uplifting my brothers and sisters with every single word. I'm uplifting and protecting my people.
But
Bob Hawk, guys, I have to jump in.
I'm gonna have to jump off soon anyway. I got another point. I have to jump off.
Yeah, but listen, gentlemen, I'm glad that we did this. And my hope is that this isn't the end of a dialogue. My hope is that this is the beginning.